Okay, I think we are ready. So, welcome everybody to this very special Expa meetup featuring the Musa Plus project that puts the beat in the profitability. The project was put together to revive the music and event industries after the COVID-19 pandemic. The idea of this event is to bring together the people from the event and music industries and have them crash with the folks from the game industry. So we're both here on site and broadcasting live here at the Digi and Game Center of Jyväskylä. And just like all Expa meetups, this meetup is brought to you by our Digi and Game Center partners, which are the University of Applied Sciences Jyväskylä, Business Jyväskylä, Jahaha, Fingersoft, DeskMe, Seltimil, and Keski-Suomen Konttoripiste. My name is Wanda O'Reilly. My actual name is Valtteri Lahti, but that aside, I'm the chairperson of Expa Game Business Cooperative and your host this evening. Expa Cooperative is established to boost the digi and game industries here at Central Finland, and we are the operator of this entire space, which is the Digi and Game Center, or DGC. A little bit practical info before we start. So all our lavatories are unisex. You can find them in the main hallway just near the entrance. And as I said, we are broadcasting live and the camera is right over there. So please be careful with the tripod so that you don't shake it during the live stream. And also, if you need to go grab something, we might not want to use this main hallway here during those speeches when people online need to see what's happening on the stage. Other than that, for the speakers, we have a clicker right here on the table, so you just use it with the computer to proceed with your slides. And I believe that we will have some 5 minutes or so in the end of each talk, so if you have any questions, please think of them during the presentation and you can ask when the presentation is done. And for the speakers, so that we can engage our online audience as well, whenever someone from the audience asks something, please repeat the question to the microphone so people online will also hear what we are talking about, and it will be easier for them to participate as well. We are streaming in Expa's Twitch channel. There is a chat going on, so everyone online, please engage with the chat. If you have any comments, any questions, you can write them down, and we will engage those if we have the chance and time. There are plenty of snacks and drinks. I see that most people have already found them, so relax and enjoy and tune yourself in, pun intended, for an interesting professional talks and networking. Our program is a little bit uncertain for one speaker because she's stuck in a train at the moment, so we hope for the best that we will have all the speakers tonight here. But luckily we are flexible and we have modified the program a little bit, and we just changed the order of people on stage, so no biggie. The program is that we will have, the speeches will be 25 minutes in total with the questions and answers, and we will have 2 talks first, then we will have a 15-minute break, then a 3rd talk, which will also include a tour in the virtual studio upstairs, so you have the chance to actually see what's going on there. And then there will be free networking, and 19:30 we will hope that our last speaker has also arrived, so we will gather here once more and have the final talk. The official program ends at 8 p.m., but you are free to stay here and network and continue the discussion, so we're not pushing you out. But yeah, welcome once more. I hope you enjoy your evening. And now we will hear a little bit opening words about the Musa Plus project by the project lead, Niina Loimusalo-Lipiäinen. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Wanda, and welcome on behalf of our project team. It's great to see you here. I will shortly introduce you to the project, what it is all about. So my name is Niina Loimusalo-Lipiäinen, and I'm running this project with 4 totally awesome experts at the JAMK University of Applied Sciences. Please stand up. Sami Sallinen, our music expert. And Jyrki Vihriälä, our business expert. And Timo Puukko, our XR expert. XR expert. So this project is funded by European Social Fund, which is always important to mention in the beginning. It started in February and it will last until the November in this year. So it will be very intense project and a lot is happening. And the target group of this project is you. So this is targeted to music, event and gaming industry professionals. And now it would be very interesting to hear how many of you are musicians and how many of you work in the event industry, and what about the gaming industry, and how many of you are students in these fields or teachers. Yeah, totally awesome. So the main goal of this project is to bring you guys together and create something new together. It's all about what also this evening is about. It's bringing you together so that you can network, you can get to know each other, you can learn about each other's work and your skills, competencies, and most of all, you can start innovating together. What could we do with all this creativity? And for this, we organize workshops in which you can, for example, explore new technologies such as XR. Now I got it right. And virtual technology and low latency technology, which enables, for example, online interaction in real time, which is important in music and could be relevant also in event industry and gaming. And we also organize business development workshops where we introduce creative business models as well as tools and paths for developing your enterprise. And you can also there share your plans and get some feedback from business professionals. And we will also gain some knowledge what's going on at the moment in central Finland in the music and event industry companies after COVID, which basically crushed everything for almost 2 years. So, So this evening is all about networking, and already next week we have our next workshop, which is the business development workshop at Gamebit Pro at Rajakatu campus. And there you will get some valuable information about different business development tools and creative business models. And then in May 26th at Yläkaupungin Yö, we will introduce and demonstrate low latency technology for you by, for example, playing music in 2 different locations at the same time. And this will also be an interesting event for you to together think at the edge of these technologies, that what can we do together with this? How can we use this in business? And about these spring events, you can find information on the table next to the coffee. There are some brochures with also QR codes with which you can register to these events. And tonight we will hear some very interesting success stories from people who have crossed boundaries and one way or the other are successfully combining these fields. So let's enjoy this evening. Thank you very much. And next I would like to ask Sami Sallinen to introduce our website for you.
Hello everybody. I'm Sami Sallinen, Senior Lecturer at YAMK, and I will hopefully introduce you to our website. This is so modern. We have a browser there, I think, and somebody is operating it at the moment. The web address is oomc.fi, oomc.fi, suomeksi. So it's called Open Online Music Campus, and we have a special slot for this project. So if you go to oomc.fi/Musa Plus, then you will find all the necessary information. Hey, but there we have it. But can you see? Can you show us the URL, the subject or the web address line there? So if you go to the main page, oomc.fi. Yep. There you have it. So on the front page, if you scroll down, you have all the necessary information about our project. So if you scroll down using the mouse wheel or something like that, there you have it. So some information about our project and a link to our event calendar where you have all the necessary links to enroll in our happenings and shit. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much, Sami and Nina. Your work on reviving these industries is very valuable, so let's make the most of tonight and the rest of the project. Now, tonight we will have very interesting talks from many different points of view to the industry. So basically we will have virtual studios, we will have some urban exploration, and also game music. And now, for our first speaker, is someone who has worked as a songwriter and a producer for the Musician application. How many of you know Musician? Awesome. So there is context. And he has been an active member in and behind such bands as Ellipse, Von Herzen Brothers, Valtteri Torikka, as well as his own band, Youth the Pianist. He hosts monthly jam nights at Tampere G Live Lab Club and is also a graduate of Sibelius Academy. Please welcome to the stage, Markus Pajakkala.
Can I hold the mic? I guess it's okay. Yeah. Thanks, Vanda. Thanks for having me here. So I'm Markus Pajakkala. Well, the text is pretty small, but I guess I'll talk through some of that. But yeah, so I'm pretty much all around person in music as you can, and I play various instruments and write music, record, mix, and master music, and do stuff for something game related as in Musician. So for those of you who don't know what Musician is, it's an app for teaching you to play instruments, guitar, ukulele, piano, bass, and some singing too. I spent almost 12 years there, but I'm no longer there. So now I work for a competitor called Musopia. But I actually started my own company and I work through that 60% for Musopia. But I do a similar job, so I make music that is educationally meaningful, so it teaches you or is the best possible backing track for learning to play. So dosing stuff in a right tempo and introducing new chords in a right way and stuff like that. Tailored music, and also introducing musical genres to people, and all overall trying to make the most out of it and have fun. So, well, why I'm here, why I'm a musician? I warn you, I'm gonna jump into the deep end right away. So, what I think is the coolest is a state that you can achieve through music in a specific setting, usually when improvising. So you can get some sort of connection to an energy. I don't know if it's a higher energy or where it comes from, but you somehow almost detach from your body and you just work as a channeling method for something, and that's cool and everything. That's really cleansing, and I kind of live for and hunt those experiences, but they don't pay my bills, so I have to figure out something else to do that with. So I've always had a drive for music and urge to create music and hunger to learn a lot about music. And I've only really come to realize this quite recently, that one turning point really was my teenage years, when I was having some sort of dark period. Then I don't know how much of it was like a teenager drama in my head, but I was kind of bullied in school at the time, and I had started to play the drums a bit earlier, and one of the bullies was a drummer too. And I just thought to myself, this son of a bitch can't be a better drummer than I am, and as I'm not able to kick his ass physically, as he was bigger and he had a lot of friends, I'm gonna kick his ass in music. And then, but that at that time also music somehow formed into a method of escape and a safe haven to escape the kind of shitty stuff. And I started to explore it and get a lot out of it. And in retrospect, I'm actually thankful for that period and these guys, because probably if I wouldn't have that, if I was a cream ass, as we say in Finnish, so a person who hasn't really gone through any trouble in their lives, then I might not have as much to say as an artist. So, thanks. But yeah, also often when you ask for tips on how to make it in music and such, you often are told that you should have your own thing, your niche, and concentrate on that. But I'm basically the complete opposite of that. And I think that if you know a lot and can play a bit of a lot of instruments and know how they work, I think that's an immense benefit usually. And for example, I've played the clarinet maybe 4 hours in total in my life, but out of the 4 hours, maybe 3 hours, I already used it in songs, and even I might have used some auto tuning and stuff if I couldn't play it right. But still, some of the knowledge I get from elsewhere helps me to kind of understand and grasp things faster in another instrument, for example. And I really enjoy challenging myself. I want to write a salsa song and produce it to sound kind of accurate. And yeah, I want to try everything. But I can see one thing where it can backfire is that it's quite hard to market myself as such. So, for example, if I would like to sell to a company that I can make brilliant ad music, and then they Google me and they find Utopianisti and that's what is this freaky stuff, or then they find out that I've played with Stamina and then they think like, yeah, that's a some metal dude. We don't want any metal music in our ads. So that's something that I now have to struggle with as an entrepreneur as well. So I started as a drummer, but I wanted to make songs. I had to somehow work through a lot of obstacles because I couldn't play anything else, and I couldn't get stuff that I hear in my head to sound. So I had to learn other instruments to do that. And also I learned very early on that if I wanted to get songs on records, I will not have money to pay for a studio every time I have a song idea. So I will have to learn to record and mix music myself. And that kind of then led me to that side. And actually in my family there are 0 professional musicians on either side. So becoming one wasn't really a reasonable choice. But they're actually my army mates helped me because I went to the army band and they kind of encouraged me to apply to Sibelius Academy, and that had never crossed my mind. But then I checked it out and found this music technology department there, and I applied there and got in, and that was kind of brilliant thing, and it made a lot of sense then to kind of make it at least a part of my living to do the sound engineering stuff. And yeah, from there on, towards the end of my studies, I got into musician. Actually, I never went through any recruitment processes or anything because I knew the founder before he founded the company, and he knew me, and they were developing this music game, which was Wild Chords, the first product, and they just asked all the musicians they knew, could you write a song or two for us? And I did. I wrote a reggae song where when you play a D chord, a duck starts to follow you, and then you play an E chord and an elephant starts to follow you, and that was actually a really cool game. But then it turned into Musician later, which is more like an educational app and not that much a game. But of course it's gamified stuff in that sense that you have to, it's like a Guitar Hero for real guitar, kind of you follow the tablature stuff. And yeah, it made a lot of sense to me as well, because as I've got so much from music, I also want to be on the giver side and let people get to enjoy it and learn to play. And in music, when you think like as a musician, I think networking is everything. Well, you might have a reputation that can help, but networking is always the key. And I started going to jams when I turned 18, and I was quite passionate about it since the jams in Tampere at that time, they were on Mondays, and they started at 1 at the night. So I slept a couple of hours, then I woke up and went to jams, and then came to sleep a couple of more hours and went to school in the morning. But that was kind of cool stuff, and well, I don't know if it's a tip or something, but I tried to do something kind of, try to somehow make an impression. So one thing that has probably changed my life a bit was that I learned how to yodel. And I performed this song Hocus Pocus from the 70s band Focus. and when I did that in the jams, then some very cool people wanted to play that song with me, and that was some sort of key to getting their attention. But yeah, and jams, going to jams, I think it has brought a lot later on as well, since from a contact from there, I got to play on Stamina's record, and I played on the live gigs later. And also one day out of the blue, I get a phone call from Sami Kuoppamäki, who was my biggest drumming idol when growing up. And he said that, hey, this is Sami Kuoppamäki, you play the flute. I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I play the flute, but I can't make like a pure classical sound, and I'm not really a jazz player either, but I'm kind of a rock flutist. Well, that's exactly what we're looking for. And then that's how I got into Ellipse, which is Elli Halo's solo band. And well, I didn't get in right away, but I had to kind of meet them, and I think they did a lot of background checks for me. So at that point, it was kind of crucial that I hadn't really screwed up a lot, or like you get a stamp on your forehead quite easily if you screw up gigs and do stupid things. So I luckily didn't have a lot of that. So I was still considered possible for that. And then I think also, as they asked me in, I was able to offer them quite a lot by being an all-around person. I can sing backing vocals and play flute and sax and percussion and some keyboards as well. So that was a pretty cool experience, and that was by far the kind of biggest production I've been in, and a lot of fun. But that was only for 1 year because it was meant to be just on the when Halo Helsinki was having a break. Yeah, so networking there is pretty crucial. Also, through that, I got into Kingston Wall. I played the sax parts that Sakari Kukko had played on the albums, which was also like coolest thing. And I got to play with the Von Hertzen brothers also through that. And I'm going on a tour with them this fall also. We'll probably come to Jyväskylä too, so see you there. Yeah, but networking hasn't, it's a complete different thing in the games field, because at Musician, well, I got in through knowing a person, but during my time there, I tried to network. I went to a couple of IGDA meetings in Helsinki, and I really couldn't find any music people there. And I was at Musician also. I was in my own silo, kind of the only person doing all the audio work there. And now that I left and went to Musopia, I had never even heard the name of the guy who was the only person there doing all the audio work. And at that point, it was just crazy when we got together and kind of both had done it over 10 years. And oh, that's how you do that thing. Oh, that's how I do that thing. And it's kind of crazy. So there I kind of would have wished to have some comrade support or anything, but I couldn't kind of really find it, and probably Salla Hakkala is the only games music person I could even name. So good to have these kind of meetings, and I want to encourage all the music people also to attend those. Yeah, so I've when it comes to kind of organizing my time, I strive for some sort of balance, because I wouldn't really want to be just a professional musician, because I would be away from my family a lot and it would be quite taxing. So I want to get some job to support the basic living, and then try to pick the cherries or something from the gigs that are offered. And at this point, I just started my own company, and I'm kind of hopeful that through my networks and stuff I will get ends meet. But Musopia seems really fun, and it's a small and agile company compared to the previous one, and I think there's a lot of more room kind of to make your way, and they're also, I think they also have a couple of posts open if you want to check it out. That's in Helsinki, but some sort of remote working is also possible, to my knowledge. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of doing the ukulele teaching, beginner stuff, rethinking it over there. And yeah, so probably I went through all the stuff. Well, the jams, yeah, of course, the jams I love it, so I also got to host them, and at jams there's sometimes there's this kind of bit unwelcoming feeling, and if you went to those you might have spotted it, but I try to change that by being more warm over there when organizing it. So welcome to Tampere Jams if you ever are there. Okay, should we have some time for questions?
Yes, time for 1 or 2 questions.
What's the jam date on Tampere?
Sorry?
Jam dates, are they weekly, monthly?
The jam dates, well, they're a bit random actually now because Live Lab is having quite a busy schedule. But the next jam will be on the 30th of May. There's Mara Balls will be the guest over there. Welcome.
I have one question.
Yep.
May use the mic. So based on your story, I get you said that networking is everything, but there's also this kind of pursuing what you love on the other hand, and it sounds like you haven't had this kind of very determined, always business savvy, looking forward for opportunities and building my scene, but rather just kind of floating around and seeing what's happening and picking the most coolest stuff that's floating around. So any advice how people can land in the same situation? It sounds like, okay, there was some luck, you met some people and so on, but is there anything that people could kind of pick up on? What's the next step to get the foot in the door for the industry?
Well, it's really hard to give tips on that. I think you just need to go out there and then have some luck. I don't think there really are like recruitments really in this field, and it's hard. But of course, it's learn how to market yourself, and that's a lot already, I think.
Yeah, that was kind of a provocative question, because that was actually the thing that was also in game industry some years ago, and what we have now come up with this kind of regular meetup culture is that we've built a platform for people to meet, and that's what this project is also about. So just making that very obvious here. I think we can have one more question from you, Ilari.
So the question was, what do you think about kind of personal portfolios? Well, I'm actually in the process of creating one. I haven't had the need necessarily, or I have somehow just summed up some sentences when trying to promote for a gig or anything. But I'm now in the process of trying to really nail that. I'm not too far in the project yet, but yeah, I think that's very important. And yeah, you just somehow need to, I'm really thinking what would be the kind of key factor to show first. I don't know. I have to kind of figure out, and maybe even the possibility of showing a different portfolio in different purposes would make a lot of sense, I think. But yeah, if you follow me in a month or so, I might have something out that you can check out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insightful and kind of down-to-earth and honest talk. I think it's very valuable for many people who are looking to make it in the industry. Now it's time for us to move on, and we will switch into the topic of urban exploration. So, the next speaker is one of the founders of City Spotting. Founded in 2020, City Spotting is a gamified urban adventure that solves the motivation problem of movement by offering inspiring perspectives and excursions from your very own city. So let's welcome to the stage Sami Toivanen.
Hello. Hi, my name is Sami, and don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry, I'm just saying this for me. So, but trying to give you the okay. But hey, I'm very honored to be here, and somehow our website is here. But I also have this presentation, but this is also nice because you can see what we are doing. But yeah, my second time here. First time when I was here was a few years ago. I was asking my friend Suvi, who was working somehow in this place, that Suvi, please give me 2 hours to some place to work, and I came here. So this is my second here. But okay, let's go. Can you found? I'm sure that the presentation will come. So no worries, no worries. Yeah, I'm one of 2 founders of City Spotting. Our company real name is Fennoscandic Simulation Systems. Because why not? But that's another story. Okay, I will tell you the story. You know the Ready Player One. For someone it's just a movie, but it's also the book. And there is Gregorius Simulation Systems, the company which runs that virtual reality over there. And we got some kind of inspiration of the Ready Player One, and decided to name our company Fennoscandic Simulation Systems. And yeah, this is my first company actually, and when we started 2020, I was like, we cannot take this too seriously, so please let's do something little weird things, so we don't feel like we are entrepreneurs, because it's a little stressful to think that oh my god, we are starting this business. Okay, but here you can see the discover the secrets of your hometown, and this is what we are doing. And you will see later on some slides, and I'm telling. Hold on. We built the. If I start like this, originally we are not the game makers, but we have built the adventure for local people like you in Jyväskylä. When you use our adventure, you can see spots on the map. But you don't know what are on the spots. You need to go over there to see what is there. Pretty simple. When you go there, the spot is on the map, and it's GPS fenced, so it opens when you are there. And then when you are there, you can heard some stories what you haven't heard before of your own stories, and go to the places where you haven't been before. Actually, those places are not that like we have 60 spots in every city. Yeah. Yes. Oh yes. Okay, I can use this later. Okay. computer. Yes. Yeah, we have our adventures in 10 cities in Finland at the moment, and there is 60 spots in every city. And what are in the spots? You can see the map later. There is some kind of nature, city history, architecture, or kind of that stuff. And people will hear new stories about their own city, kind of feel like they are tourists in their own city. And this is kind of we have gamification elements in our service, but it's pretty simple actually. And when we started, we put spots on the levels. So that's I think the main gamified element, because when you go to the 5 spots, you will get more spots to your map. I will show this way. Yeah, like first you can see some spots in this area, and when you go many places, you can get more to the map. And why people like to do this? I go back because I'm not ready of this. This is not going back, so good to know. It's going back. Yeah. Why people doing this? Why they want to go to the spots what they actually don't even know? Well, I don't. In this day, 3 years we've done this. I actually still don't know why people buy our service because in I will tell some details later, but we don't tell anything, almost anything about our content. They just think that, oh, this is exciting, let's buy this, and they buy it. And probably because some of those like it, and they tell to them their friends, and maybe they buy because that. Yeah, 3 years, and this is what I've got this so far. So please help me. Okay, but yeah, we have actually a kind of small team. Me and Mikko Rinnevuori, whose idea this is, and I will tell the beginning story very soon. Yeah. Okay. But here's the city spotting Jyväskylä spots on the map, and because we have the capital city area where we have done all the big cities, we few weeks ago launched the adventure where is all Helsinki area spots on the same map. So this is like no one can do it. It's just too much. But somehow people still buy this also. Yeah. Yeah. When if you can see the tree icon there, when they open it. Yeah. Did I say that they use it with their mobile phone? Yeah, you got it without I'm saying that, yes. But if they click this, they can see some kind of like there can be like a text like rock or something, and it's just a vihje, hint, clue of the content what is there, and then they go there. Yeah. But look at this or this. Yeah, it works at the moment. We don't have the native application. It works in a browser, and yeah, this is what I already told, but because I forget to tell some very important details, so that's why this slide is here also. But about the content, because the content is the king, like we all know. there's short videos about the place, and I would like to say that every video includes something what you didn't know before, and there's also some sport spots that which helps you to do some very easily activities with your body. I lost some words, but you are. I like that because you are understanding. And we can communicate. We can ask something, which is I think is interesting, and give some rewards after they visit the spot. Yeah. But the beginning now, because this explains you a lot. Yeah, and this always happening me. I write some notes, but I don't never use it. This is always the same thing. So, yeah. Mikko, who is the original founder of this concept, he made this kind of adventure for his friend, and as you already know, we are started 2020, time of COVID. Yes, it's bad, but this is not because of COVID, but it was just because we had the time to do it. And Mikko's friend was, she's a dancer and needed some places to do her exercises in outdoors. And Mikko knows a lot of, Mikko lives in Helsinki, and he knows a lot of places in Helsinki, and went out, put the QR codes to the places, and when the friend went to the place, it opens the exercise and some details about the place. That's the first version of city spotting, and very quickly happened that the friend didn't want to do the exercises. She just wanted to go to the places and collect to all history details and interesting stuff what Mikko have made there. Then we launched the first. He made we used the Seppo platform to put the things to the map firstly, and Mikko launched it to the friends, 20 friends. Something around 20 friends started to use it, and they liked a lot. And then I just started to talk with Mikko, and about 1 month we start the business. And 1 month after that, we launched using the Seppo platform, the city spotting adventure. That's the beginning of the story, what probably explains you something what I did not already told you with my excellent notes. Yeah. I'm not sure that am I pushing this button or is it just slow, but it's not. Yeah, I think the hand came to change it. Thank you. What we are when we meet some business people, they ask what you are doing, what problem you are solving. I tried to say we are somehow solving the motivation problem to move, because we offer the easygoing urban exploration for people. Just go out from the door, and that's the problem. And yeah, motivation to move is our main thing. What we want to. I'm not sure is the hand coming or is this button working at the moment. Hand will, yeah. But we are not originally game developers or any. We don't have software experience. So we, after the Seppo thing, 1 year ago we launched our own application which works in browser. Yeah, and yes, please yes. And this is interesting. Why I would like to say that when you go our web store, we are not selling any like games or apps. We just saying that here's a nice adventure for you, or things like that, and somehow people like the message, and they want to go to explore their home cities. And please yes, yeah. And about the scalability, we can do this in any place in the world, but it just takes some time. Of course, we need to do some background works. And do I have still one time for the little funny story? Yes, like localized content. We had made a little pilot adventure for Adelaide, Australia. Mikko has a friend there and put some spots to the map for the Adelaide friend. And there is one ship's graveyard, like old ships which are not used anymore. And there was one spot. Okay, nice, sounds interesting. Then the friend put the message to Mikko. Yeah, that's the good spot, but did you know that there's alligators? So that we learned something. If someday we are going international, I think we have learned already something, that everything cannot be done from the home sofa. And please this is our core team at the moment. Our office in the startup factory in just 1 kilometer to I don't know that way or that way, but it's that way. Yeah, and yeah, I'm actually very happy to be here, and I will stay here. Yeah, this is our story. Actually, now I will tell you. This was my first English speak in anywhere, anytime. So, thanks. I answer questions if you have anything. Yes, please.
When you first started talking, I thought it's gonna be like I can go to the Play Store and download it for free and it runs on ads. But I went online and looked it up, so I'm thinking,
Yeah.
did you mean to do it like that so that it would feel not that cheap and different? So you need to buy it from the browser, and it's an experience, not an app.
Yeah, we firstly we wanted to get as cheap as possible, but somehow we decided to put it. I don't know. I don't remember exactly why we like forget the native application thing, but it might come in the future. It's not. It can come later. And did I heard that you also asked a little bit something about the pricing system, about or did my ears or
First, I was assuming it's gonna be a free app.
Yeah.
But I saw the price and it
Yeah.
was pretty big.
Yeah, that's fun. I had to note that we actually sell this product, and it's 29 euros, and you can use it 6 months. But there's that much content that people, when they start to use it, they feel it's fair price. But yeah, it's also which is weird that we don't even have any free trial at the moment, and still people want to start to use it. I don't understand. but we have tried some free trials, and you can get the activation code and start it using in your browser, but it just we still not offering free trial at the moment. Yeah, and yeah, somehow every year we have a big pricing conversation with Mikko, and actually our first price was 36 euros. Now it's 39, and it's still staying 29. I said 29. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So first of all, thank you for the very sympathetic talk. That was lovely, and sorry for the in-house tech problems, and thank you for the hand. And yeah, so basically what I'm getting from your talk is that you went into this adventure first and kind of the experience first, and only after that have you started formulating the service around the experience, and hence the way things have folded out. So being not kind of native to this gaming and app developing scene, can you name any expectations or hopes or insights that you might look forward from networking with these people, and perhaps also music-wise? So if you state those out loud, I think we can make much more out of the networking.
Yes, I'm sure that when we want to, of course, we have to scale this to the whole world, but I'm sure that we will need help in that. At the moment, we have a very good software company in Helsinki. Kisko Labs has made our app. We can say app. But I'm sure that we will consider in the future a lot that how we build this, like if we want to go to Sweden or anywhere, what we need to do to our code and things like that, and we need to take eye on that, of course. And that's actually when I being here, this might be the place where I can get some good conversations. Yeah. One little word about the adventures. Nowadays everything is adventure. You buy a ice cream from the store, it's adventure. I wanted to say this. I don't know why I'm now starting to say that, but people just want to find some easy adventure in the nearby. That's in our case somehow worked.
At least on what you said, based on your download numbers compared to your advertising and ease of use, I think you have already kind of nailed that. So you are really meeting the need of the people. One more question.
Have you had any legal issues or surprising things with law during this
Yeah. If we about our content, I ask how I understand that not major, but one person sent us a message that's please, that spot is my home. So of course we changed that very quickly, but he has chosen to live in the historic building, so we just didn't know that, but not any. We try to build this very stress-free. We are not. Yeah. I cannot say I have saw any major things. I think if we are going to put this some other country, I think we need to consider very carefully that what we can do, people do in by using our service, and I think the Nordic countries are pretty easy, but we don't need to even talk about the US or anything like that. Did I even tiny and yeah, okay, yes.
Thank you so much, Sami Toivonen. One more round of applause. So that too was a very eye-opening and lovely, honest talk about entrepreneurship. And the last question or answer to it was kind of a deep lesson is that you do first and you apologize later. That's how you innovate. But okay, now we are at the point of the program where we can take a small break. So for the next 15 minutes, please use the lavatories, fill in your cups and enjoy some snacks, get on with networking, and we will be back here at 18:45. there, but anyway, we will continue now. Okay. Our next speaker is one of the entrepreneurs here at the Digi and Game Center running a virtual studio upstairs, and I will let him showcase the thing entirely because I don't have the knowledge or the capacity to do that. So without further ado, welcome to the stage the CEO of Noveltive, Vesa Peltola.
All right, nice that you said my name because I usually forget to start with introductions. I will go directly to the point. So nice to be here, but special thanks people online. I like your choice of participating in the event. You should do this, look into the camera and say thank you. I mean, they are there. Yes. All right, Timo Puukko asked me to have around 15 minutes slot about the topic of resilience and our company story, short one, during COVID times. The story is nice if I tell it nicely. I haven't decided yet, but let's go back to 2019. We changed our name. Don't go to details why, but Noveltive comes from two words, novel and creative. And there's a bridge. I'll come back to that later. So we updated our website, launched it, and 2-3 weeks ago, later, the first lockdown came. And during that time, if you went to our website, it said that we are a communications company from Finland. Well, also us were in a department that nobody wanted to buy our services anymore at all. So, the topic of resilience, I would say that it is all about the people. Companies, they don't have resilience because they are just a license number. It's all about the people. I have thought about it, what is resilience, but I've come to the conclusion that it has to be something related to the personal qualities, attitude, and so on. Because I could have done nothing, try to continue as before, but it would have been quite futile, useless. Roll on your back and die type of situation. Can't have that. Refused. So I just sat down, thought about it, and came to the conclusion that in order for us to be useful to our customers, companies and organizations, the need of communication doesn't go anywhere. So the conclusion was that streaming in one way or other will become a necessity. And having thought that, obviously the second thought is that, okay, well, most likely others will come to the same conclusion and there will be competition. So, next thing I was thinking that what could we do better, fancier, somehow differently than just have a stream and chat and call that a virtual event, because it's not, it's just a stream and chat. So, came to the technical solution was to have 360-degree virtual tours as a online venue. And there you go, pretty visual. It was instantly liked at the very first go, so that gave quite much energy to take it further. The first one, kind of pilot, was in May already, And July, some of you might know the festival in Muurame, Naamat. So we did that. People liked it. It was more than stream and chat, and therefore people liked it. And then rest of the fall, all kinds of companies from our previous or existing customer base chose to do that kind of things. Okay, what next? Let's add entertainment. All of a sudden, we were also a agency that booked the national known stand-up comedians and musicians also. We had I would say quite big events when nobody did events, at least here. So artists that performed in those events were, I really dislike name dropping, but I kind of have to say the names in order to continue this speech. So artists like BM, Antti Tuisku, and then Elastinen 2 times. If I'd like to name drop, I would really wanted to have Elastinen just one and then somebody else. But what can you do? I mean, we didn't choose the artists, customers wanted those. We were having that, and what else? Let's innovate. We had this very visual online venue. We ended up developing escape room games. That's the short version. And we added those to those events. So they were kind of one-time use only. But the short story is that we just we were able to build those in such a short time and in such a good quality, and all because of the people. Okay, so the thing is that the people changed on the way. The communication company had 2 people that were really skilled communication professionals. The change was inevitable, but there was a happy end. Those 2 have been working in the big companies in the communications department since then. So in that sense, the boat turned, and it required different skills. And now, obviously, virtual parties. I already knew back in 2020 that it will be a passing thing. It would have been insane to start investing heavily to that thing that I knew that will end, and it did. Pre-Christmas parties, 2020, crazy schedule. In here, we served at one Friday or Saturday, we had a party that was attended by almost 2,000 people. So there were 3 studios built here because it was empty, so that was easy. So it was pretty good and big thing, but it isn't anymore because it went. So I guess what I'm trying to say, that is my resilience is that I don't care. I don't get stuck. If I was a farmer and there would be no farm anymore, I would be like, okay, well, then I do something else. So just stop caring. Yeah. I have still 4 minutes. Yeah. What came up has come down, but there have been good things that followed. So the 360-degree things are still there, but obviously the content is entirely different. So when we built one-time events for company private party, it now is something related to teaching, education, and those kind of things. So same techniques, entirely different outcome. And well, yeah, I have to say that the most typical online gig is now stream and chat. So it's not an event, it's stream and chat. That is the medium thing that is being asked from us. But still, it is nice to notice that things are still have developed from pre-COVID times. But yeah, the last thing about this change and this not caring resilience thing is that, well, I didn't want to stop there, what we were doing, because I kind of knew that it will pass. We need to think of something else before it goes too down, and then we would be in trouble. So I came up with the concept of having a virtual studio that is built around Unreal Engine. That is the engine that is pretty I think that some people are familiar with that. And notice that there's a virtual production site built with plugins and everything like that. So that department is, I cannot tell you what it is. I have to show it. I have like almost 1 year of experience trying to tell it to somebody. No clue. I can see from the look that. What? Is it just like, oh, okay, I know, it's a green screen studio, yeah, I know what it is. I don't care about the green screen studio, okay. Oh. But it's much more, and therefore, if you're into tech, if you really like something new, well, upstairs is definitely something new. So, I have still 15 seconds. I would like to ask and invite people who want to see something new upstairs. But there are too many. I guess we somehow need to organize. But some of you have been there, so don't come second time. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Vesa. Perhaps we can start the organizing by people who want to see something new upstairs. Please raise your hand. And Vesa, is this too many? Yeah, all right. So we will continue with the next speaker in half an hour. So enjoy your stay upstairs. And in the meanwhile, feel free to network and mingle. And we are back. I hope you enjoyed your tour in the virtual studio upstairs. And now we will continue with the topic of game music. And we have with us tonight a true professional in the field. She is an internationally awarded harpist and composer. She is best known for composing music for Angry Birds, Clash of Clans, and The Merge Mansion. So really the hottest titles of the past 10 years. She has worked in Rovio as a composer, producer, music consultant, making music for games, animations, trailers. My head is spinning. But after that, she has founded her own audio company with clients like Supercell and Metacore. She's been recently awarded with 2 big prizes in NYX Game Awards 23, Grand winner for Best Mobile Game Music for Merge Mansion Games, and Gold winner for Best Game Music Soundtrack for Friends and Dragons. Please welcome to the stage, Salla Hakkola.
Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. Very happy to be here. Sorry to be very, very late, and I'm sorry I missed all the program you had, but happy to be here now. Yes, I tried to make my point in the 25 minutes I was reserved for this. So, let's start. Why is the background music so good? I'm pretty new to this Reddit, and I was wondering something about the game. And if others have had this happen. This is Reddit chain about Merge Mansion. I was on my way to work, and on my commute I play a little Merge Mansion. For the first time in months, I diced to turn the music on. So when I did, I felt myself get sucked into an emotional thinking space where it feels like you are on the brink of a breakthrough. I'm still working through it, but I was wondering if others have had this with the music in this game and what it was. Me, I'm going to keep the game open so I can listen to it on repeat. I think this is really a good question, and it's not only because I want to show how much people love the music I made, but it's because it's the question is what makes me think, like, why is it so strange for this person to find this kind of music that gives him or her this emotional reaction from a mobile game? And probably they are not the only one who are experiencing this, and this can happen with many other games as well. But why is this something to be surprised about? Also, it makes me think that does it need to be this way? That people don't take it for granted that we have really good mobile game music, because they do listen to all kinds of other good music they love from mobiles anyway. And then the third question that comes to my mind, that do the original reasons for this status quo, which make this person wondering about it, are they valid anymore in 2023? Then I'm also going to talk about why the game audio circles are so closed, and how it would benefit both the game developers and the music makers if it wasn't the case, if there was much more transition between game audio circles and other music makers. Now, if I can have my web page there, and this, you can have this, delete this. So this is my artist web page. I'm working on a web page for harpist as harpist composer, so as not to scare away the paying customers, because there's like heavy art stuff happening here. Maybe if you can scroll down a little bit, there's my portfolio of stuff I've done with harp. There I'm with my electric harp, playing with Pekka Kuusisto. We're doing in Tampere Shopping Mall a performance. Here I am in Idaho. In here we are in Minsk. This is my little girl. This was back in 2019. This is my own band 10 years ago, and here's this section for game music, what I am going to talk about today. So I came to game music by accident. So I'm not this, what you would say, a typical game music composer. And of course now I say that I'm generalizing, because there are exceptions everywhere, and there are many people who do game music from different backgrounds, but still it's not so, and it's more common that you start making game music that you're already in this circle from the very early stage. So you become a game music composer. But this wasn't the case for me. I was studying music. I'm still actually making my other master's degree in Sibelius Academy, so I've been studying it a lot. I went through this music institution and then Sibelius Academy, and I've also been occupying myself with many different things in music and arts in general. So I have my history in this live music. I've composed for live music, like concerts for other instrumentalists, and also been performing myself with different groups and different artists and so on. In 2007, I founded a production company called Combo with my brother and his 2 friends. And that's where I started making media music with software, Cubase, that I still use. So I made music for commercials, also games. I did my first game music through it. It was actually a Rovio game, one of those, many of those that didn't succeed before Angry Birds. Also I made some short movies, some animations. And then this company was purchased by Rovio, because at that time Rovio had big plans, and it wanted an in-house animation studio to start making Angry Birds tunes. So that was in 2011, and that's when me and my brother Ilmari Hakkola, we founded this audio department at Rovio. So I kind of came from this happy accident to game music. Of course, there were many other things to do in Rovio. We had artist collaborations. I was supervising the animation, the music production for the animation, and also composed some trailers and some episodes of the animation. Then I did a lot of game music, of course, for Angry Birds and also the other IPs they had. But I didn't have this usual story to it. So I kind of feel like an outsider still in it. I'm not such a devoted game enthusiast in a way that I would kind of, the game world would fill my life. It does fill my life in a way that I spend a lot of time with the games that I make music for. And of course I check out what happens. But otherwise I feel that I'm kind of looking at the games from outside rather than from inside this game world or world of game business. And but after working at Rovio, I have quite a good view on what it is. So, and this being an outsider is a kind of something that it's the basic narrative of what everything I do. I kind of, as a harpist, I feel like an outsider. As a composer, that wasn't my major, what I studied in Sibelius, and always this like, but I'm not a real composer, and but yeah, well, it has got its good sides as well. Yeah. Ouch. ei onneksi osunut pahasti. Nyt mä en pysty pitämään. Okay. So let's take a look at how did we end up here where we are. So game music, early game music was made in the late 70s, early 80s. And it was mostly made by, we could say, computer geeks, because you would really need a special kind of technical ways and also musical understanding to be able to make early game music. Because the tools were really, really restricted. And this wasn't the case if we compare to film music, for example, like early silent films. They were accompanied by musicians, composed by composers who do music for other things like concert music and such. But this wasn't the thing with game music, and there wasn't really a lot of composers who do other music that would do. Of course there were, but you would really have to be in the game business to be able to do it and understand how it works, and use your creativity with these really limited sounds that you could use. So then it ended up sounded the way it did. We all know what it sounded like. I spent my childhood with those sounds, and they are really, we all like them. But it also became a synonym for the game music as genre. So or a type of music, because it sounded quite the same for a relatively long time. It didn't really change very fast. In the 90s, we still didn't have game music that would sound the same sound quality as in other recorded music. And of course with films this was totally different, So we still needed this, we needed the specialized game music, composers for game music. And then it kind of started to mean this certain type of music, what it sounds like. And it didn't change for quite some time, and for mobile games, of course, it didn't change until 2007 when we had the first smartphone. So before that, what was the status of mobile games? We had the worms, but we didn't really have much else, and the sounds, of course, were not anything spectacular. So 2007, but the games were still quite restricted. You couldn't still fit a lot of information into one game because you would download the game at the same time, once, and you couldn't how do you say, like now you update it and you can add content all the time. You couldn't do it, and you still couldn't fit a lot of audio files. Maybe one file and then you needed to loop it. So this has changed within the time that I've been in this business. Yeah, well, there has been a huge change in mobile games and what they can do, but mentally, mobile game music and mobile game developers are still in this game music genre. In this, they haven't really moved to this, what mobile games and all the media are, or is, media is. Because it really has outgrown the limits of this phone, you know, we have social media and everything, like media is everywhere, and we have like anything related to TV series or movies or games, we have them in many different platforms, and we can listen to the music everywhere. So it really is this kind of huge platform for game music. A good example of this, how backwards this thinking still is in a mobile game, even though there's no technical restrictions anymore, is that Supercell, which is one of the most successful game company, they didn't hire audio person. They had one audio person who was doing all the music, all the sound, all the implementation, everything in that company until 2 months ago, when they finally hired 2 audio people more. So it's insane. I mean, it's really crazy. And definitely it's not about the money. I mean, they could hire 100 audio people there. So it just shows that they really haven't like expanded this idea what you can do with music and how easily it can be done. So, of course, I hear this often, like, oh, you do for mobile game music, ooh, like nobody listens to that, and you know. But actually, mobile is a really interesting platform because everyone carries it around, and we have this compulsion that we need to touch it all the time. And this doesn't happen with movies or series or the big console games. Also, big console game it's like a book. You make it ready and then you sell it. But with mobile games these days, you don't make it ready and then it's there. It's never ready. You can update it infinitely. You can make new events to it, and if it's a successful game, it lasts for years and years. And they can have like 10 events a year where they can put new music. And you can, with music, you could have all kinds of things. You could have featured artists there. You can have pop-ups. You can have playlists that are curated for licensed music that fits the game, or of course have original playlists. You can add links to, you know, to albums and to these artists. There are so many things you could do, and it wouldn't really be that difficult to do. Not very difficult technically either. And of course the audiences are incredibly wide, like hundreds of millions of people playing it. So what is the point of having good music in a mobile game? If you are making like, well, let's say you make very simple game that you want to make a good algorithm only, and then you make lots of money, and maybe you're not interested in the graphics or, you know, or the story or anything, then maybe you don't want to think about the music that much. But now the competition about games, mobile games, is really, it's tough, and you need to have retention, no? So you want this customers or these players, you want them to take the phone and go back to your game. So you want, you know, build this kind of world that hovers around these players' minds when they are not playing, because you want them to come back. And you do this retention. Of course, you need to have a good gameplay mechanism, but you also, the best way to have retention is to have emotional connection to the game, to this world, that there's something that you want to come back to. Otherwise, if you find a fun game, but then you get bored with it if there's nothing more to it, because there are hundreds of nice games that, okay, it looks nice, la la la. But for example, Merge Mansion, they pay a lot of money for this big advertisement that they have this question like, what's grandma hiding? And and people they want to know what's the story and what are the characters like, and and then there are always these hardcore fans who follow every little detail. But there are so many things in this kind of game that's well done that you can be excited about. And even though not everyone is a music person and not everybody gets crazy about the music, but if you have like 100 million players, then if you have 3 million or 6 million people that love the music, that's a lot. And then they post about the music, they talk about it, they get interested about the music in the advertisement, and all this is building you a better brand. And this, if the music is good and people like it, this is the emotional connection you want for your game. Like we saw in this first, like, oh my God, what was this? So you can, this is a really good tool, the music, for building this game. And why not to have it? I mean, you are spending a lot of money into every other stuff in games, so why ignore the audio completely, where you can really have a lot of impact with that. So my last point is that what could we do, or how could we come to the situation where we benefit the game developers and also the musicians would benefit from these things that music can do? Because what I think that there could be a lot more diversity in game music, or what kind of music you can compose for game. And there are so many great musicians, but they don't have any access to actually doing that. And I mainly think, like with both game developers and also the musicians, it's that they are also in this game music genre box, and they should be thinking, outside this game music genre box. And sometimes I like my friends who are musicians, and they are like doing all kinds of amazing stuff, and they're like, hey Sola, I wrote this game music song and you want to take a listen. And then I listen to it, and then it's this something like oversimplified, something that, it's a funny tune, but it has got nothing to do with the genius music they do otherwise. And they're like, okay, that's great. So and also I think that game music developers can also have been stuck with this idea, like, okay, we need game music, and then they don't really think about everything it could be and who could be doing it. That's one thing. Then with the developers, a big problem is that there are no people who are dedicated to thinking about these things. It doesn't need to be a musician, but somebody who gets paid for, thinking about what could we do with music, what kind of music we want. And normally it's not anyone's business. And then it's just, or then it's everyone's business, and everyone has got something to say about it, but then it's not really, nobody really decides. And it's kind of something extra for people who already have something, other main thing to do in the company. So then nobody really thinks about it, and then it comes in the latest of the pipeline. And, but we need to have some music, some game music. Okay, now something fun, something, I don't know, there's a beach. Something like beachy, fun game music. And so that's one problem. And like the Supercell example is a good example of how it really not a priority, and it's not always about the expenses, but more about the attitude. Of course, I understand that startup companies don't have, they don't have the luxury of hiring someone just for that, but I think it should be acknowledged that this takes time and somebody needs to think about it. And also, if you want to make a game music that works well, then you need to implement it well also. So that's also something that somebody needs to do and take the time. Okay, how do we do this? We want to have it looped. Do we want to have interactive music, adaptive music, and so on? Yes. And from the musician point of view, of course, you would need some kind of knowledge of what the special requirements that it takes for making game music. But it's not rocket science. Also, if you want to do film music, you also need to, start learning how to do it. The problem is that there's not so many possibilities to do it. And one thing that also is required is that you would need to be able to make demos for the game developers that sound good enough. Because many musicians, they are not, it's like costly and long process if you want to make a really good sounding or recorded music. So that's one problem, how to make a demo that gives the image that this is what I'm going to do and this is what it's going to sound like, but it's going to sound better in the end. So that's one problem. Well, of course, there could be so many, solutions and questions about all of these topics, but I'm just going to end this talk into saying that I think that this is exactly also what's needed, these kind of events where the game developers and the music makers, they can informally socialize. They can interact and they can communicate, they can share ideas, and I really think that being in a physical place and meeting physically, this is when, the best ideas come about. So thank you for organizing this, and I think there should be a lot more of this kind of events. Thank you.
We have time for questions, so if you are open for that, Salla.
Sure.
Yeah, and the practice is that when the question is asked, please repeat it to the microphone so that online people also hear that what the topic is. And we already have one hand up, so let's just start.
Hi. In the last 10 years, many movie stars have switched from movies to TV because of Netflix and stuff. So, do you think composers would start to shift from, let's say, movies to game music? And who would you like to see to write music to a game?
So do I need to repeat this question? But he was quite loud. Or
Please do, because the mic doesn't.
okay. So the question was that there has been actors who are shifting from movies to TV series. So do I think that there are composers who would be shifting from movies to making game music? And who would I like to be that composer if that would happen? Yes, of course, it has already happened, especially in the console games, like AAA games. There are a lot of movie music composers like Austin Wintory and Alexander Desplat, who have made big game soundtracks, and many more. So this is happening because it's more close to the, making movie music, and their budgets are big, and there's a lot of the infrastructure in making music in console side of the games it's much more developed. So yes, definitely. And who would I want to see here making game soundtrack? Well, my favorite is this Ludwig Göransson, who made this awesome Mandalorian theme that is just like crazy good. So I think I'd like to hear a game soundtrack made by him.
So, what is your personal next step out of the box? Perhaps game music symphony?
What is my next step from out of the box? Well, I'm all about out of the box, and I have so many ideas that I really I really talk to these companies about. Now we're planning to have, we have worked on an orchestral versions of some of the Merge Mansion themes, and so we'd like to have them played in concert halls. And also this would be really nice to have, like, to make a suite, like a Merge Mansion suite, and have it for different ensembles, like for example string quartet and piano, because that's what there's a lot of that in the soundtrack. So that's one thing. It would really be nice to see the music grow. Yes. Yes.
So you post this idea that everybody who's making games should be thinking about game music outside the box of game music, so that there are opportunities there. Now, if we think about like indie developers and people who are just getting in the industry and working around with Fruity Loops or Reaper or whatever, is there like do you see opportunities with the basic tools that are used today for the in-the-box game music for outside the game box, like game music box? So basically what I'm saying is that what first came to my mind, that okay, you can be very explorative with new instruments and recording your own audio from the ground up and doing that kind of very artistic and tedious process. But for people who just need to get the soundtrack into the game but want to get something more out of it, what would you recommend?
Well, like, you can think this out of the box in two ways. Like, you can think about it as making different kind of music and how it sounds like. And I don't see why this, if you have simple tools and you don't have the, you don't have 50,000 euros to pay for big sound libraries, this doesn't really. I mean, there's so many ways of doing music. You can combine all of these. You can use your voice. There are already many musicians who do this. But it's also to think like how to implement it in the game. For example, how to make it adaptive. Like, okay, we'll have this music made with layers of like interesting sounds, and well, this already happens, but you would really need to start this process earlier on. And also, what do you do with the soundtrack after? Like, do you want to make like behind the scenes stuff about how the music is done, and you want to use this in social media, and then you want to have the soundtrack out, and who's the publisher? And if the games company is the publisher, you get the streamings from it, and so this kind of all the things you can do with music. So it's not only a question of what kind of actual sounds you can make.
Yes, so not only about the product, but also about the process. Right. And do you think perhaps building like the story and the feel of the game from the music, beginning with the music, for example, game companies have these brainstorming sessions where they come up with mechanics, they come up with story, these kind of things. So perhaps having the music first would kind of be an opportunity.
Yes, definitely. And this happens with really good movie directors as well. Like, there's really this communication. You make sketches about the music, and then the team gets ideas. And I actually do this. If they contact me early enough, then I'll send the demos, and then they're like, okay, well, this really, we were thinking about this and this, so this is how it works in an ideal case. And that's why it also, like, from the start, what about the music? This is what you should be asking and thinking in the game team already, and not when it's like, we're 2 months before the release, like, okay, let's have some audio here. So, yeah.
Any other questions? If not, thank you so much, Salla.
Thank you.
One more round of applause. And I really think your point underlines the need for these kind of events. So basically, a lot of times when game teams begin their production, there's usually the programming, there's the art, there's the game design, but music is not in that holy triangle in that sense. And what if it was? What if we had more contacts between the music industry and the game industry? What would that kind of open for us? That's a good question for us to ponder for the rest of the night. For the moment, I believe we are done with the official program, and this will be also the end of the live stream. What happens next is that you are free to mingle and network as much as you like. There's still plenty of snacks and drinks and so on, so enjoy yourselves and make the most out of it. Thank you so much for everybody for participating and all our amazing keynote speakers and tech team as well. One more round of applause. Thank you. And for the people online, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed too, and see you next month. Bye-bye.